What if the emotions that sting, the ones that you feel, the ones that are triggering you, those are the ones that actually have the potential to release you, to set you free, if you will. They're not there to punish you, to embarrass you, to knock you down. Although oftentimes it's how we feel. Like we feel, whoa, you feel this rush of an emotion and it feels so triggering. It really does seem to set you back. But what if we could start to look at those emotions as guides? That they're there to help you set back into alignment, to notice what needs to be fixed. I'm putting that in air quotes so that you can reset and get back to being the best version of yourself, get back to even growing and expanding. And so when you can learn to trust that your emotions are showing up to teach you something, to guide you, to reset you, then and only then can you start to appreciate them and allow the beauty. Instead, you can start to see them as the navigation system that God designed you with, that's built into your programming. This is where you can open up so much in your life. So, I want to share a story with you because it's one of those moments that caught me off guard that ended up teaching me a good lesson. Not too long ago, I was participating in an online community forum, where people can chat back and forth and comment on each other's posts. One morning, I woke up and I read a post from the community organizer, and I saw what he was asking people to do. And so they were all popping in the comments and responding to the question he had asked. But in doing that, I was like, oh, we can all start to support each other. And we can also, while I realize he's going to give us comments and feedback on what we're posting, we can each also jump in here and give other contributions. So I thought I was being super helpful. I just had this wave of inspiration come over me that I popped in there and I gave, I don't know, like maybe 4 or 5, like a handful of different comments on different people. Nothing harsh, nothing intense, just simple contribution. A few people thanked me and moved on. It was just simple and clean. But one person really reacted in a way I did not see coming. He wrote a very long response, basically as an attack towards me, telling me he didn't want my input. He wasn't inviting my input, that he was putting his comment there because he wanted the feedback from the organizer, not from me. I was like, whoa, don't you understand what a community is about? His tone was so sharp. And I felt like a intensity. I was like, did I do something wrong? And I was shocked. I was like, what is going on? So I considered it. And I was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, maybe he's just like emotionally immature right now and he just can't handle feedback. And I just worked on releasing it because I didn't want this to like contribute to negative aspects throughout my day. Because seriously, it's the weird, it's the random comments, it's the people just attacking you online and just like they're totally random. They're not even a part of your life. You don't even know who this person is. Says something and it can set you off. Do you know what I'm talking about? But then the community organizer messaged me much later in the day, appreciated what I was trying to do, but that it was out of alignment with what he wanted to achieve and that I was in the wrong. And I was like, what? And friend, I don't share this to say like I'm an expert in communities and all communities have to act a certain way, but there are certain guidelines like to be helpful and to be supportive. Like it's called a community for a reason. Whatever. That is their intent. That is their group. They get to say what they want about the group. And so I apologized because I didn't want this linging over. But honestly, I felt like I'd been sucker punched because I'm like, I joined this community to grow and to learn from this person, to be a part of what they were doing that involves engaging the community. Like they even reward you like points for engaging in the community, which is great. I'm all about that. Destroy people for contributing. Like, aha! I just was in such angst all of a sudden over this. And it shifted everything for me because, like I said, I felt like I'd been sucker punched. I felt like, why is this happening? What did I do? And yeah, I ended up within 48 hours leaving that group. I'm not going to be a part of a group that one doesn't value me and two feels like immature for where I'm at. Like, I don't know. I don't want to judge it. I don't want to get into this. I'm just saying this completely triggered me. So here's the point that ties back into the conversation that we're having is that I took this and I was like, why do I feel so unsettled right now? And the interesting thing is, I was thinking before this happened that I needed to exit this group. So, completely unrelated to this incident, I had already been considering it. But I had watched a workshop from the person who put on the group, and it was some good insights. But more and more, I kept sensing that even though this person knew what they were doing, I felt like they knew what they were doing for a different segment of YouTube than the type of YouTube videos I was creating. And that maybe this person wasn't going to completely understand me and my audience and my needs for publishing on YouTube. And so I already started to have that, but I was hesitating to leave because I was like, but there's another workshop coming up that I want to watch. And I bring that up because I was already having the inclination beforehand. That was my intuition guiding me that it was time to exit that group. And I waited. I had this bad incident that came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't know why. But afterwards, I sat with it and I was like, okay, this just happened to give me that kick in the pants, to guide me. So this is what I'm saying. Your emotions will guide you. This incident came into my life to guide me, to reset me. And it came with a bunch of emotions. So I made sure I didn't miss it. And that became my guardrails, my realignment, my shakeup to put me where I needed to go. And I exited the group and I cleared it all out. And I just felt so much better. And I wasn't putting myself in a place to take advice and direction and insight from somebody who I felt was misaligned for the direction I was headed. So you see, all of this came full circle. I hope I'm explaining this well in saying that I felt the nudge that I was in the wrong place. But instead of taking the action to get out of that place, I kind of lingered because I was looking like, okay, is there anything else here? I was trying to like draw out every single value nugget. I didn't need to do that. I should have listened initially to my intuition and just left when I felt that first calling. It wouldn't have brought the manifestation of the next circumstance, which led to this big rush of emotions that had to be there to catch my attention, to lead me on to take the action. Because when I felt that, I said, oh, if I just would have left the other day, then none of this would have happened. And when I heard myself say that, I was like, oh, this is what this is here for. Because I believe that the things that happen in our lives are because those are the things that we're calling in. We're all creating the experiences that we have in our lives based on the things that we're thinking. You can stop and see how all the intricacies in your life are playing out to help to guide you back into the best version of you. And so for me, I need to stand in my own authority. I need to be making my own decisions, not leaning on somebody else to kind of guide me and instruct me and all the things. Not that wisdom from other people is not valuable, but in this case, it was misaligned. I needed to exit and I delayed that, thus the consequence. So just to make sure, so as we wrap up, just be clear that your emotions are attached to a thought and those are there for you to serve you, to guide you, to train you. Because friend, every emotion is a message. But you won't hear that message if you're trying to make your feelings just go away. If you're trying to stuff them down, not list them, ignore them, like call them stupid, any of the things. And this is why so many women in midlife are struggling. We feel everything deeply, yes, but sometimes we're ignoring it and we're resisting it and we're not wanting to pay attention, or we're like, oh, I'm too busy right now. So the next time you feel something strong, whether that's embarrassment, frustration, sadness, irritation, whatever it is. So instead of asking yourself, like, ugh, this is interfering with me. How do I get rid of this? How do I stop feeling this? What if instead you could pivot and start to say, okay, what is this feeling trying to show me? Where am I out of alignment? Or what truth is trying to come up here that I've not been noticing? And now I'm feeling this. Why am I feeling this? Question it, ask it why it's there, acknowledge what the feeling is and ask it why it's there. The clarity won't come necessarily immediately, but it will surface. And sometimes it's going to take some practice. So if this is your first time doing it, give yourself some patience and grace. Your body might have been ignored for a while, and so it's not willing to just give you all the answers. But this is how you build emotional trust, is by listening to your emotions and calling them out so they feel heard, they feel acknowledged, and you can know what's happening. And we get there by not by avoiding, but by learning that none of these emotions, here's a big kicker, none of these emotions are too big for you. There is nothing too big that you can't handle. Your emotions are not your enemy. They're your feedback. They're your guidance that God has designed you with as your internal guardrails to set you back, to redirect you, course align you, so to speak, and set you back into alignment. And when you start partnering with your emotional life instead of fighting against it, you can open up so much more in your life. And this is the work that I love helping women do, is seeing their emotions not as problems, but as pathways, as solutions to help them to get to where they want to be. And friend, if you're listening to this and thinking, I want to learn how to do this, you can. Keep on listening, tuning into each episodes. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already, or you can visit me over at stephanieedwards.com for more resources. Happy bouncing, friend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.